Hey there everyone, it's Housing Holly, giving you the 2-on-1 lowdown on fair housing and what that really means in today's society. The topic of the day is rental rights. Many individuals have difficulty knowing where to turn when experiencing issues with their landlord. The Ohio landlord-tenant law applies to both landlords and tenants. Landlords have several rules they must follow. First, a landlord should keep the premises in a habitable, safe, sanitary, and good working condition. This can be accomplished by responding to repair requests in a timely manner. Your landlord should also supply running water and reasonable amounts of hot water and heat. Your landlord has to give at least 24-hour advance written notice unless it is an emergency before entering your unit. This is not an all-inclusive list, but it gives you a basic idea of what landlords are responsible for. Now, as far as you, the tenant, you are to keep your unit safe and sanitary condition and maintain all appliances provided in the unit as outlined in the rental lease agreement. Tenants are to conduct themselves in a manner that does not disturb any neighbor's peaceful enjoyment of the premises. This would also include the conduct of their guests. As a tenant, you can also not unreasonably withhold consent for the landlord to enter the unit to make repairs or inspections. Again, this list is not all-inclusive, but gives a basic idea of your responsibilities as a tenant. So, what is a lease? A lease is a binding contract between you and your landlord that specifies all the conditions placed upon yourself and the landlord in regards to the unit. A landlord will define the terms of late rent, maintenance, repairs, and the method of termination or renewal. When terminating a lease, either party must give a notice 30 days prior to the end of the lease of your intent to terminate your contract. If you leave before the terms of the lease have expired, then a landlord could hold you financially responsible for the remainder of the lease or until they re-rent the unit. Oftentimes, many individuals fail to read their lease agreements prior to signing them. This is imperative because it will allow you the ability to be aware of the conditions being placed upon yourself and what your landlord is obligated to do. Many people find themselves in uncompromising positions due to failing to read the terms agreed upon in the lease agreement. Make sure that you are prepared and aware and agree to the original terms given prior to signing a lease. So, how does an eviction work? A landlord may evict a tenant for many reasons, but the most common reason for an eviction is failure to pay rent. To evict, the landlord must first serve the tenant with a written 3-day notice to vacate. If the tenant does not move out after 3 days, the landlord may file for an eviction with the local clerk of court, where a hearing will be scheduled. At the hearing, the landlord and tenant will present their evidence in support and in defense of the eviction action, and the court will make a decision. If this does happen to you, we advise that you consult an attorney to better understand your legal rights. A landlord is prohibited from attempting to what is called a self-help eviction. A landlord also cannot attempt to recover possession of the premises by terminating the utilities or changing the locks. How do I get my repairs done to my unit? Oftentimes, many individuals are confused on where to turn when repairs are needed for their units. There is a right way and a wrong way to obtain repairs. You cannot withhold your rental payment until the landlord makes the repairs because that would lead you to an eviction. You would need to provide the landlord with a written notice of the repairs which need to be corrected. You should keep a copy of the request you give to your landlord. If the landlord fails to remedy these conditions within a reasonable time frame, usually consisting of 30 days, then you may deposit your rent into escrow. Escrow is basically depositing your rental payment with the clerk of court. If the landlord still refuses to meet their obligation to repair, this might give the tenant the ability to terminate the rental agreement. The Ohio landlord-tenant law forbids a landlord from retaliating against a tenant by increasing rent, decreasing services, evicting, or threatening to evict, because a tenant has exercised their right to complain about their dwelling conditions that materially affect their health and safety, or because they complain to the landlord about fulfilling his or her duties. This even applies if you decide to join a tenant's organization. What is a security deposit? When you sign the lease and prior to moving into a unit, a landlord will require a security deposit. A security deposit can be used to cover the cost of any unpaid rent or damages to the property that are beyond normal wear and tear. When you move from a unit, a landlord is required to return your security deposit within 30 days after the end of a lease and when you have returned the keys to the unit. If the landlord fails to return any or all of the deposits to you, they must provide a written, itemized list of any cost for repairs or unpaid rent that was deducted from the deposit. When you move from your unit, you are also required to provide your landlord with a forwarding address to which the security deposit and/or the itemized list can be sent. If a landlord retains the tenant's security deposit after 30 days and the tenant has provided the landlord with a forwarding address, the tenant may bring an action against the landlord for the portion of the deposit that has been wrongfully withheld. Fair Housing Resource Center is here to assist with any questions or issues that may arise during your tenancy. Always remember, fair housing is not an option, it is the law. Fair housing agencies across the country are here to promote equal housing opportunities for all persons and to advocate for fair housing and diversity in the communities we serve. Thanks everybody for watching. Click on my link below for more information and subscribe to my channel and keep an eye out for upcoming videos. If you have any questions or want to see a video feature on a particular issue, email me at housingholly@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, and Housing Holly out.